Order. Questions to the Prime Minister. Mr. James Berry.
Question 1.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others, and in addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today. The Secretary of State for Transport and I were in those tunnels a week ago. The tunnelling phase is complete. It lasts for 26 miles across London. It is a feat of great engineering, and it's going to be brilliant for our economy.
Harriet Harman.
Last night, the House agreed that there should be an EU referendum, but it's got to be. But it's got to be in the right way, and it's got to be fair. Firstly, the issue of who can vote. Why won't he let 16 and 17-year-olds vote? This is about the future of our country. They did in the Scottish referendum. It's their future too.
Well, first of all, can I thank the Honourable Lady and all those Labour MPs who joined us in the division lobbies last night. After 5 years of opposing a referendum, to watch them all trooping through, it was the biggest mass conversion since that Chinese general baptised his troops with a hosepipe. It was very impressive. On the issue of 16 and 17-year-olds, I believe this House should vote on that issue. The Conservative manifesto is clear, and my position is clear. I think we should stick with the current franchise and 18, but the House of Commons can vote.
Harriet Harman.
Can I just say, in his initial response to my question, that he won the election. He's the Prime Minister. He doesn't need to do ranting and sneering and gloating. He can just answer the question. And frankly, he should show a bit more class. So he and I, talking.
Harriet Harman.
He just can't help himself but gloat, can he? Go right ahead and gloat, but why shouldn't he just answer the question about childcare? We know, and perhaps we can have an answer rather than a gloating session for the next question. I'll try again.
And I'm sorry if the Right Honourable Lady thinks I'm gloating. It must be the first time someone's ever been accused of gloating while quoting the Leader of the Opposition. I mean, for instance, she said the other day... She said people tend to like a leader who they feel is economically competent. You know, I think she's been talking a lot of sense, and I'm going to be quoting her. I'm going to be quoting her as often as I possibly can.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was pleased to hear the announcement in our manifesto that there would be a review of business rates. This is something that's come across loud and clear over the election period in St Albans. My businesses want some assistance with this. Through his good offices, can I ask that he will get the Chancellor to get a move on this? I think it's so important for across the country and for good business.
Well, the Chancellor will have heard loud and clear my honourable friend's instructions.
Mr. Angus Robertson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The UK remains in the top 10 amongst the most unequal societies in the world. Helping people on low incomes receive the living wage can be transformational for them and their families. Will the Prime Minister take the opportunity to praise all employers who deliver the living wage?
I'm very happy to praise all those employers who deliver the living wage. That has long been the Conservative position. It's set out in the manifesto, and I'm proud to say that as Prime Minister, and I hope this isn't gloating, number 10 is a minimum wage employer too, a living wage employer too.
As I should point out to the right honourable gentleman, is this House a living wage employer as well? Mr. Angus Robertson.
However, the Scottish Government is the only government in the UK as a whole that is an accredited living wage employer. could the Prime Minister tell us when he will ensure that all UK government departments, all agencies and all employees will receive the living wage?
Well, we do want to make progress. Obviously, the Scottish Government has the advantages of the additional funding it's been getting under this government. And I do notice that consensus in the Scottish National Party is rather broken down over full fiscal autonomy. Because, of course, if they got full fiscal autonomy, they probably wouldn't be able to afford to be a living wage employer. I've been following these things closely. The new Member of Parliament for East Lothian has called the policy economic suicide. The new Member of Parliament for Edinburgh East has called full fiscal autonomy a disaster. It seems to be that the Scottish National Party's new approach is to demand something they don't want and then to complain when they don't get it.
Naz Shah.
As a new MP, I am still wondering if the Prime Minister actually answered the question during his question.
Well, first of all, on behalf of the whole House, can I welcome the Honourable Lady to her place? She replaces someone who had, I think, a unique distinction of always speaking with immense power, but always being completely wrong. And I'm sure that she will take a different approach.
Nigel Huddleston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The long-term economic plan is working in Worcestershire.
First of all, can I congratulate my honourable friend for winning his constituency, and can I say he has got off to a tremendous start by not only mentioning the long-term economic plan, but also mentioning the railway line that goes straight through the middle of my constituency, which I want to see the further redoubling of. So he's already my new best friend.
Andrea Jenkin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my constituency of Morley and outwards, one of the issues that is consistently one of the issues that is constantly raised on the doorstep is economic migration from within the EU. The government has already taken steps and clear action to reduce incentives which draw migrants from within the European Union. But could you tell me what further steps have been taken to tackle economic migration from outside the EU?
Can I welcome the Honourable Lady to her place? I have to say that her election result was one I was dreaming of, and I'm very, very grateful for.
McCartney.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Speaker. On Monday, I attended the formal opening of the Magna Carta Centre in Lincoln, a magnificent vault built to showcase Lincoln's original Magna Carta in its 800th celebratory year within our city's beautiful castle. Having himself visited Lincoln on various occasions, would the Prime Minister like to join me in recommending that other members and their constituents should visit Lincoln to see for themselves both our original Magna Carta and our majestic cathedral, as well as Lincoln's myriad other attractions, especially as we move towards a new British Bill of Rights?
I think my honourable friend is absolutely right to take this opportunity in the 800th anniversary of the signing of the Magna Carta, to advertise the fact that there is an original copy in the great city of Lincoln, and people can go and see that and see all the other advantages that Lincoln has to offer. But there's also not just a point about British history here. There are so many countries and so many people around the world that don't have the rule of law, that don't have protections against arbitrary arrest. And so that document, signed 800 years ago, is important not just in Britain, but important that we promote its values around the world.
Mr. Douglas Carswell.
At the time of the Bloomberg speech, the Prime Minister promised that he would seek the repatriation of power from Brussels. Power, he said, must flow back to the Member States. Social and employment law, he specifically promised, would be returned to Britain. Why is he not even asking for this anymore?
Well, first of all, can I welcome the honourable gentleman back to this place? He's made some history because as a party of one, he's managed to have a backbench rebellion, which is something to be admired. what I've set out in terms of the renegotiation is a whole series of things that need to change. Making sure we deal with the problem of ever closer union, making sure we deal with the issue of competitiveness, which, yes, does impinge on some of the issues under what was called the social chapter that have never been acceptable to the United Kingdom, making sure, and the Chancellor will be setting out more detail of this evening, that we have a better balance and proper fairness between those countries that are in the in the euro and those that are out of the euro. All these areas in our negotiation and more are very important.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Any move to legalise assisted suicide is viewed with the utmost concern by disability groups and others who fear that it could pressurise the vulnerable into making decisions that are not in their best interests. Would the Prime Minister inform the House of his view on this issue?
Prime Minister. Well, on this issue, I agree very much with my honourable friend, which is I don't support the assisted dying proposals that have come out of the other place. I don't support euthanasia. I know there are imperfections and problems with the current law, but I think these can be dealt with sensitively and sensibly without having a new law that actually brings in euthanasia. And as she says, I think the problem is the pressure that is then put on frail elderly people to take a decision that actually they might not want to go ahead with.
And when is the Prime Minister handing the baton to Boris?
Well, we benefit hugely from having Boris's wisdom now back in this House. And the baton that I'm interested in seeing is the moment at which Boris passes the baton to another Conservative Mayor of London.